Okay, so I'm prepping dinner, and then I was reminded and reminiscing on one of the deals in townhomes that I bought, and it was a really good story. And I'm like, this is worth telling the story. So we're gonna go back. I believe it's 2.5 years now, and a townhome popped up in the same community or complex as another townhome that I had, and so I knew what the rents are, and I knew what all the expenses were, and it was coming soon, so you can't show it, but I knew that at that pricing, it was a slam dunk of a deal and somewhere right around like a 20% cash on cash return, okay, at the time. And so when I saw the property pop up, it took me about till mid-afternoon to get to my computer to write up an offer sight unseen, because you don't need to see properties like that. I know that if it needs a full gut with new carpet and all new paint and everything that it needs, it's going to be $10,000 max. They're really clean, really kind of easy to do. So you can easily shoot over a sight unseen offer. Doesn't matter what it looks like inside. And what I find out when I send the offer over is that there's already an other offer, because there's a bunch of investors that are, own properties in there. So it actually makes sense. So we ended up getting this ghost bidding war, and I actually lose. Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. At least I gave it a rip, and I knew that it was a good buy. So fast forward 2 weeks from that date where I lose, and I get a phone call from the listing agent. And the listing agent tells me, hey, our buyer's going a little bit nuts. They used all of their statutory rescission period, which is the time that the state requires the buyers get for them to review association docs, but you can cancel at any time during it. So the buyer used all of their time, waited until the basically last second, and said, reduce the price by $15,000 or I'm canceling. And so they called me and they said, hey, we're caught between a rock and a hard place. My buyer has a place that they're going. We can't extend this. We can't relist it. And we have to have this closed in 2 weeks. And since this buyer's already burned up so much time, we're either going to have to accept that reduced $15,000, or if you want to buy the thing and you can close in 2 weeks, which means that you can only close in cash at that time, so you couldn't close financing that fast, we would love to sell it at you at the same offer that we had originally. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. I think it was $117,000. I knew that those numbers worked. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'll buy it cash, and then let's do a refinance afterwards. I say, okay, great. I send over the offer. We get it signed. The cancellation happens, goes to pending, right? I'm ready to just buy this thing. I get a phone call, I think a day after that, because once it goes to pending, especially when I'm buying it for myself, my name pops up as the pending agent. And he goes, man, I'm the buyer who wasn't. I knew who he was. And he goes, I knew it was going to be you, man. He goes, we were already like to terms when we, originally came coming soon. And then you popped up, and they kind of, I ended up having to pay more money during our initial negotiations, and I just got pissed, and I just wanted to mess with them. And he goes, man, I really shouldn't have, because frickin' A. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. It cash flows, but like, sorry. And so I ended up closing it. So lesson learned there is like, don't do goofy shit and get in the way of a deal, because your pride and ego gets you nowhere in this business. And you'll learn that over time, that there's no sweet moments where you do these funky games, you end up winning in some ego battle. It just never works out in your favor, like, ever. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about this property. So I bought it for $117,000. 30 to 45 days after I closed on it, I did a cash out refinance, and I ended up cashing out $91,000 of that 117. So I got 91,000 back. And so at that point, I only had like, what was that, 16,000 or 26,000 left into the deal. And it was cash flowing right around 6K a year. So it's cash flowing pretty good for that amount of money. Then in 2022, I did another cash out refinance, and I pulled another 34,000 out. So that means my cash out of this project, doing my cash out refinance, is right around $125,000. And when you put those numbers together, I bought it for 117, and I took 125 out. I actually own this property for nothing. In fact, this property has paid me just in cash back into my pocket for me in finances $8,000. Not to mention, it's been paying me $6,000 a year ever since then. So this property, I'm holding it for free. What a slam dunk. And just because I was willing to jump at the opportunity, not let myself get in the way of a deal with pride and ego. So lesson learned, you guys. Look at how powerful real estate can be, and don't be stupid. Don't do dumb things. See you guys. Enjoy.